All right, let's read some reviews of this show. On iTunes, Poop McDupe says, cool. He says this podcast is very cool. This podcast is great for fellow comics and common folk. Bravo. I mean, that's a very nice review, and it probably took this guy or gal maybe 30 seconds to do that. Let's see here. Always a great listen from Butler Street. Great episodes. Really enjoy them. Thank you for the review, Butler Street. That's really nice. Sexy Punta says, easy listen, enjoyable guests, relatable content. That's great. How about this? Nate's gay friend. Oh, I don't know who that could be. I've actually known this kid for a while, and even before he started in comedy, I referred to him as the funniest person I know. When I found out he had a podcast, I thought it was completely perfect for him. Would recommend to any and all. Guys, I mean, this is the kind of reviews you get on Usually Wrong. Okay, that's enough of that. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Usually Wrong, episode 44. If you'd like your review read, just leave a review. That's all I'm asking. It's not even tough. You can do it. Thanks for listening. This is with Nick Svitek. We'll get to him in just a second. If you'd like to see me do comedy, go to Nate Nolf, find some dates. That's natenolf.com, rather. I'll be at the Arcade Comedy Theater, excuse me, January 5th. I think that's at 9, and then Akron, Ohio on the 6th of January. So come out to those shows. More on the works. We're looking to put together some shows, too. So if you know any good bars or any really nice places for comedy around here, even just have a stage, I can work with that. If there's anywhere around the area that you think, hey, this would be good for a comedy show, let me know. Even leave it in a review. I don't care. 5-star review and name of a show venue. That's fun. This is with Nick Svitek, who is this is a very dear guest of mine. His brother, Eric, is one of my dearest friends in the entire world. I've known both of these guys forever. But Nick, you might know him from multiple bands around town, one of which does the theme song to this podcast. He's the guy talking in the intro. It's a great song if you haven't heard it. It's called It's Just Me. It's by Blithehound. They do the show theme song. Great group of guys. I had R.C. Betts on, who's also in that band with Nick. I think he was like the 6th episode. I think he was the longest episode of this show, like an hour and a half long. I think this is only like an hour. So listen to this. This is going to be a lot of fun. Subscribe to the show if you haven't, and enjoy Usually Wrong, episode number 44 with Nick Svitek.
When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that and forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You will be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living. That is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Like that's the, yes, try it a little bit.
I got you.
That's great.
How's that?
You're a professional at this.
Yeah.
Why am I
Let me know. If I'm
going
going to scream, I'll go back here.
So, I want to say, I'm like, thank you very much for doing this. I'm pumped to have you here because I think I've known you longer than I've known any guest.
Okay.
I'm going to have Josh on to talk about like the campaign
right,
and stuff.
Right,
and he's
right.
the only other
but,
one.
Yeah.
So I liked talking to RC because we grew up in the same area. Like we went to the same high school, so I could talk to him about his like music experience because he didn't do like anything. Did you do marching band in high school?
Yeah, I did. So I was in the band all through school up until 11th grade.
Okay.
Because I wanted to play soccer.
Okay.
And I did it my freshman and sophomore year, and I was able to do the marching band. But it was a thing where I said, look, I just want to do concert band because marching band and soccer were the exact same time. And I was like, I'm always missing practice or I'm missing band practice. It's like so I didn't know the formations that well for marching band. So like, because I wasn't able to make all the practices. So I was just asked, can I please do that? And they wouldn't let me do it. So I decided to play soccer, which, in hindsight, didn't.
What do you mean? Well, but
I played the tuba, a sousaphone.
Did you?
Yeah.
I thought you played the saxophone for some reason.
No.
Do you? Here, I talked to a couple different people about this, about like their high school experience, because I talked to a lot of musicians who did like marching band and stuff, and I never found. The director does not listen to this podcast, I promise.
Oh, I'm not concerned.
Who cares?
Yeah.
But I never found like the music scene when I was in school to be really down for any other type of band or any other type of music that wasn't jazz band, concert band, and marching band. So when I look at people like you and I look at people like Chris Miller, I think those people broke away from the system that was handed to them. So I'm always interested, how did you grow up with music? How did you get into the music that you started or that you're playing now? So did you experiment with anything like that in high school, like bands that like music that you're making now?
Yes, I definitely did. So I played the trumpet like from 4th grade through 7th grade. 6th grade, something like that.
Right.
And then I switched to the sousaphone, and then I started playing electric guitar once I got to high school.
Did you teach yourself?
Yes. My uncle John gave me an electric guitar, and I took lessons for a little while, and then I bought an amp because I worked for a summer for my uncle, actually, the same uncle who gave me the guitar. He was like, look, I'll buy you this amp if you cut my grass for the summer and just help me out with all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then I started playing in a band with my cousin, which was just shitty punk music, but it was fun. You know what I mean? It was just a bunch of people, and then we'd bum around doing that.
There's something about being a kid and buying all of your equipment for something and then actually learning it. I didn't buy the guitar myself. My second guitar I bought myself, but I bought amps, I bought everything, and there's something really gratifying as a kid buying all that stuff and learning it yourself that's so gratifying. So it's like no wonder you're still making music. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was, once I picked up the guitar, it was, I mean, I haven't stopped playing since. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not that I'm probably not as good as I should be, but it's like I haven't stopped playing, whether it's being like in the punk music, whether when I joined a group with like RC and Chuck, the bass player, and John Walters, like the guys who we played in Blithehound. Right. Before that, they were a different band called The Wise when I joined them. Yes. Yeah. So then that
was the cool band when I was in high school. Like I remember thinking like, I don't know who these. I didn't know you were in that band in high school.
I joined it
relatively recently. I did not know you were a part of that.
Yeah, it was from that Blithehound came, because just with Tom, our other guitar player, Tom just couldn't continue with the project anymore, just personal reasons. And we were like, well, we got to keep doing it. And we decided to change the style, because I came in to The Wise just adding rhythm guitar. Like they had some songs written. I helped write a couple other ones with them. Right. Like towards the end, but I wasn't like part of forming that band. But then I got the chance. I said, look, guys, if you guys still want to play, I have all these tunes, or some tunes that I've been working on, and then RC put music or vocals to the music. And
you know, it's some of like the things that I remember even just talking to you is, I remember like, because your brother is my dearest friend in the world. Yeah. And I remember some days like waking up, sleeping over at his house, and walking out of his room, and your room was directly next to his. I remember seeing like equipment in there, and I thought that was the coolest thing, because I was like, it sounded like you were actually creating things in there. I've always been interested in creating things and how people got started with that. Like, I would make like dumb videos with my friends in high school, which
were hilarious, by the way.
Thank you.
I watched some of them now. Like, someone's been, I think you've been posting them on one of your pages recently. Someone has been.
Something came up in like my memories on Facebook, and I shared it again. I'm like, oh God, dude, I miss. Oh, we'll talk about that too. But like, I miss. I talked about it with somebody recently, and I forget who, but I miss things like that in high school, where you just made shit to make shit. Like,
I listened to that episode, actually. I remember you talking about that.
Like, we weren't making shit to produce it. Now it feels like I'm doing comedy. I'm doing kind of the same thing as I was trying to do in high school, but I'm making some money out of it. I'm trying to make it something for long-term growth.
Yeah.
I miss days like high school where I don't miss high school, but I miss no responsibility for what you're creating.
It was like pure experimentation pretty much.
Yeah.
And just like whatever was funny or you felt like doing at the time. There was no further agenda. You weren't thinking like, oh, I'm going to make films when I get out of here. It was just like, hey, this would be fun. This would be funny. People might like it. Do it. Yeah.
Exactly. And you had a little more leeway to be like offensive with things too. But did you feel like that with music in high school? Did you feel like when you were sitting in that room and I heard you making shit, did you feel like I'm just enjoying the process of learning how to create?
I honestly think that's what it starts as. It really, I think if you have the idea of wanting to be famous right off the bat, it can be detrimental. It's not always, but you know what I mean? It can be, you might not make something that you truly want to make. I think a lot of the music, it starts from an honest creative place. But I mean, me personally, I know it did. I didn't plan, I wasn't trying to be, you know what I mean? It was just something that my family did, you know what I mean? They always played music and it was just always around. There's pianos and
that's
every house that I go to in my family.
Do you
know what I
really
mean?
feel like it was that? Because your entire family is music oriented.
Yeah, at least on my mom's side, it's everyone there plays or sings or does something. You know what I mean? They have rhythm. Yeah,
his entire house is music.
Yeah,
like
it's
you
awesome.
could fit that entire family inside of a grand piano. Like that really is it, right?
Yeah, seriously,
that's funny though. I'm thinking about it in my family as well. I didn't know my family was as big of stand-up fans until I told them that I started doing stand-up, and they were like, "Oh, we've been fans of Spheres. We've been going to the Improv since, for 15 goddamn years." I'm like, I didn't really know that.
Never knew that?
I just did a podcast this morning with a guy. I uploaded today, and we were kind of talking about that with like family. Like he was really into stuff because his family was into it.
Right.
I'm kind of jealous of your situation where I wish I had family that like I was so what's the word? You're very close with your family. Like you see each other quite a bit, or it's at least explained to me.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you live around here, you see them. You know what I mean? It's just there's dinner going on, and if you don't show up for a while, you'll not hear about it, but you'll be like, why aren't you coming around? Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I mean, it's not like you're required to, like family dinner, you have to be here. It just so happens that we all live relatively close within a few miles, and it's like, hey, let's get together as much as we can.
I think it's interesting though that kind of where you're at now and what you're creating really stemmed from family.
Oh yeah, and they love it too. Like when I had the choir, like they all sing in the church choir, and I had them sing on the Blithehound album. They're like a backing part in what's the name of the song? Hold on.
Please tell me. Is it like the newest one or like the older one?
Yeah, it's the newer one. I think it's called "Until It Is Observed." I think that's the song that they sing on. The choir sings in the background. Yeah, we had to go. We set up microphones. Yeah. My buddy Eric in Red Room Effect, the singer from them, helped. Like we helped set up the equipment there because we needed someone to help. And I just like scored out some simple like harmonies and whatnot that I wanted them to sing, and I gave it to him. And I actually went to one of their practices the one day and brought a track.
Oh,
and I said, "Hey,
amazing.
This might sound weird at first, but can you guys humor me and do this?" And they were all about it. It was really funny. So then at Sunday, after they got done singing at a mass, they came over to the other church, the OLPH, and we had the microphone set up and a track that like could play for them. It was a lot of fun. So like they love the fact that I still play music. I think they seems like they do at least.
I've always had when I was in school I did the Glee Club. It was like this big men's choir.
Yeah,
and I always had this fantasy of making music and them having them sing in the background. Just listening to that, like that would be. I love that so much. Do you think? Okay, so in terms of you're in many different bands. How did you come into? So we started with the whys, but how do you, what am I trying to say? Is there a particular genre of music that you play that you are more, that you relate to more? Not necessarily that you like playing as much, but is there a genre that kind of speaks to you? I hate that. I hate what I just said. I hate interview questions. I really do.
You're not interviewing me.
Thank you for listening to the show.
You're not.
Because I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Is there a particular genre of music that you relate to a lot more?
Well, I mean, I guess to explain the whole, I guess, musical journey of the different bands, it's kind of like you're always trying to figure out what you're most into, because you can't play all styles of music at once with people, you know what I mean, with other bands. So like with Blithehound, I had a lot of creative control with starting some songs and whatnot, but I mean, Chuck and John and RC, I mean, they definitely make that project what it is, but like a lot of those riffs were coming out of my head or guitar parts that I had, whereas I joined Red Room Effect, and that was a whole different experience. Two
wildly different styles.
Yeah, but I just enjoy all kinds of music in general.
Right.
I enjoy like good music where it's honest and it seems to come from an honest place, because I don't really like a lot of the mainstream pop music right now, because a lot of it seems like made for the money. There are some artists that are are genuine. You know what I mean? Like you listen to like Adele, and she doesn't write all of her stuff, but you know, she's just raw talent in my opinion, in a lot of aspects. That I mean, she writes a lot of her stuff. So
there's something about, even though it's being sold to you, that you can appreciate the like you said, the raw talent of it.
Yeah, but the musical taste, I mean, the older I get, I don't know if it's age or if it's just playing a bunch of different kinds of music, being able to improvise and never play the same thing twice is so much fun. Like with Brahctopus now, we play shows and it's like, it's a different version of, not a different version of the song every time, but you never know. It has a little different feel. It's more, it's like a jam band type deal. That's to me right now is the most fun, because it's pure freedom on stage, and you don't, you know what's going to happen, but you don't know what's going to happen.
Well, so I get that, because that's stand up. I say a lot that if what I'm saying can be easily reproduced in a Netflix special, I like it, but it's not the same. If I can go to the Improv and make an experience that only those people really get, as close to improv as it can be and still be material, that's way more special to me. But you do that every night in a band like that, and to a degree, and
it's not all improv, but you know, there's a lot of sections and feels that are
it's not jazz,
right, exactly. It's not freeform jazz or anything like that, but
but maybe that's I love jazz, and like that's why I did it for years and years and years, even into college. There's something about a guy playing the piano and not knowing what not knowing what the next note's going to be. Like he knows, right? Like he knows the different techniques and different patterns, and I'm sure Ben Grove can like explain way more to me than that.
Yeah, me too. I have no idea. Like I'm still learning so much in the whole musical journey that it's never ending stuff to learn and then go back to.
Is that exciting for you? Is that daunting or is that exciting?
Both, for sure.
Why?
Because there's so much to learn, but then be able to like recall it so quickly that you can like just know it off the top of your head. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like,
Do you so you still feel like you're learning, but is there, I don't know what I was going to ask of that. I guess I would say, when I'm at an open mic in comedy, I can tell I am there to learn. Like some people are there to show up and be a part of the social scene and be a part of this and that. But I go to open mics and listen to other comics, not to steal material, but to if you went up on stage and did something, how would I have taken that joke? What tags, what other way would I have taken that? Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself, when you're listening to music, do you, even just casually, do you find yourself learning from that, or is it more just the experience of playing that you learn from?
I mean, each definitely has their place in that one. I would have to say, because I think you can get too into listening to music where you're analyzing it too much, and you kind of, unless you've listened to the song a million times and you know what it's about, then it's like a lot of it can go past you. If you're hearing new music and just trying to analyze it as you're hearing new music, you're going to miss the whole feel of what they're trying to do. Yeah, so you learn a lot from listening. You learn different lessons from playing. And you know what I mean? I'm sure it's just like bombing on stage at stand-up. Like, there are times when you go and, like, here comes my solo section, and that was not the right key that I thought it was. You know what I mean? Like, or like you're in, you weren't paying the full attention, you half step down, or like, you know, you start your, it's just like, you learn just from all those experiences, like, all right, I need to either be more prepared or how do I fix something like that to make it sound intentional? A lot of improv, I feel like, is like, if you're having to do something and you feel like you hit a wrong spot or whatever, you can fix it. You know what I mean? It's not, but yeah, there's lessons to be learned from
you playing on stage, and I've seen you play on stage. There's, every band that you're in, genuinely, I think is great. I think I'm not just bullshitting you. I'll butter your bread all day long. But it's so fun to see somebody that I've known for so long succeed in this way, and in so many different genres. Not genre.
No, they're all different. They're all completely different. Like if you put them side by side, you're like, what? Yeah. But it's. Yeah, you do different things in all the bands too. Like, I'm not playing the same instrument in all the bands either, so that's what keeps it fun.
Do you feel like you're yourself on stage, or do you feel like you are playing an exaggerated version of Nick Svitek?
I don't know what an exaggerated version of me would be.
Okay,
I can't. No, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not trying to play a part. I'm super like self-conscious. Like when I'm up there, like, oh man,
really?
Like, do I look like I should be up here as far as just like the overall aesthetic? Because there are times when you see bands and you're like, should that dude be up there with it? Like, someone will stand out and you're just like, am I that dude? But like, you know, I don't know. I don't think about that aspect too much. I'm honestly so focused on not messing up music or knowing, like, focused on the performance and like that aspect of it. I try not to get in my own head in that manner of, but
yeah. Well, maybe it's a little different then, because I look at stand-up, and you probably have heard me say this before, but I still don't feel like I'm myself on stage. I feel like I'm an exaggerated version of Nolf. I feel like I still am doing my best impression of John Mulaney and Mike Birbiglia and Pete Holmes. And I don't think, but I think music would be the same way. I've never played music on a stage other than in a big band ensemble, right? So I feel if I was going to get on stage, I would be doing my best impression of John Frusciante, but just a shitty guitar player. Do you understand? Like, I feel like
I mean, yeah.
I feel like because I would feel the same way. I would feel kind of like, what am I doing here? I know people. I've had people like you on. I've had RC on. I've had my second guest was Dave Kelly, who's a part of this big metal band.
Yeah, dude. What's their name? Hold on.
You got it. I'm not telling you.
But dude, isn't he the guy that does the Star Wars stuff now? No, that's not him.
I don't think so.
Someone's in the Star Wars metal band.
Somebody told me about this.
Did he talk about that on his episode?
About it. Yes.
We played this band. We played with these guys at the Hard Rock before.
Star Wars band.
I'm pretty sure it's like a Star Wars like metal. Like they do the Star Wars themes, but it's like metal versions.
That's amazing.
I swear I think he talked about.
I think he did talk about, because I've heard that before.
Tell me the name of the band.
Unparalleled Heights.
Yes. We played. They were at a Hard Rock Rising competition that I think the Wise or Blithehound, one of those two played.
Really?
But that's why when you had him on, I was like, I know this guy. Like I've met him.
Such a nice guy.
Yeah,
like he's very kind.
I think they actually won the thing that night. Did they? Like that our little. It was like a quarter, like, you know, one of 3 different things to get to the next step. So like I think they won our night.
Right. Maybe it's just something about physical appearance, but like I look at that guy and I think he should be in a band. I look at people that I went to high school with and I'm like, they should play basketball. They're built to play football.
Right.
And then I look at me and I'm kind of like, I should be a stand-up. But music-wise, I've never thought that I should be on stage playing a guitar.
Okay.
It's an interesting thing. I just don't think, I don't know, maybe there's just some like self-conscious issues, but I guess similar.
I never really like thought about like why, like trying to be like, I don't know. I started playing music and the guitar, like I said, I didn't like idolize someone and be like, oh, I want to play guitar like Eric Clapton or like Jimi Hendrix. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that for me. It was kind of just like, I know what a guitar sounds like. I want to play the guitar. I think it's cool. It's in a lot of music. And then it was just, okay, start figuring it out. And then like I didn't like idolize someone. You know, like how people say like, oh, I wanted to play like that from the get-go. I mean, I want to play like a lot of guitar players, you know what I mean? But I also want it to be my style. But that's why you said you want to sound like John Mulaney or whatever.
Yeah.
You learn that material and how old are you? 26? 25?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's still so much time to like, you're going to figure out who you are in the next few years.
Like I'm 2 years into this, but that's an interesting thing. Cause like I would look at guitar players like John Frusciante and think I would love to play the guitar like him. And I remember I taught myself guitar in high school too. I thought that'd be cool. Like it was never a real passion of mine, but that's interesting to hear you say that there was like nobody that you kind of idolize like that. Like I think I do that for comedians, and I think I always
unless I'm omitting it from my memory, like I don't like that's not, you know, it wasn't the reason I started playing. It was I don't know if it was just to be part of a scene or just because of a guitar was there, and I was like, well, you know what I mean? I have no idea, to be honest, like why I decided to pick up a guitar, playing piano to trumpet to sousaphone.
Yeah. But I love that so much more. I love that because then take out all the other variables, you are in love with actually making music and the actual art of playing guitar. You're not in love with somebody's image playing guitar. You're not in love with Eric Clapton playing the guitar. You are in love with Nick Svitek playing the guitar.
Yeah. It's a good... I never thought about this shit until you're like asking me these questions. I'm like, you're making me have to really go back in the memory bank.
Have you done podcasts like in interviews and stuff for bands?
No. I barely ever.
I didn't know if you guys did like tour and stuff.
No, we don't get much of that. I know Ethan, I think's done a couple for Brahctopus.
I asked him a couple months ago, and it just never clicked.
Yeah, I couldn't get a free schedule time or something.
It seems like he's busy.
He's pretty busy.
How do you associate yourself with the people that you're playing in ensembles with? Because different people are going to work for different types of music. Does it all come together smoothly, or are you in a dialogue with like two people in the band, like, oh, this person would be really good to play the drums, like he has a style that I think would really work? How does that actually come about? It's probably different for every band, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I besides Blithehound and them, I've joined the other two projects, so like I don't know how they necessarily pieced together. Red Room Effect was pieces of me and John from Blithehound played with them, and then Matt and Anthony came from a band called The Next Month to play with Red Room Effect. But Red Room Effect had been a thing before. Like we had played shows with Red Room Effect as Blithehound, and then Red Room Effect lost their drummer and bass player, and then that's where Eric had asked us to kind of fill the spot in. So I've just been filling like roles in bands for the past couple of years because I got asked to play in Red Room, and then through playing shows with them, met the Brahctopus guys, and then they approached me about playing guitar for a little while. So I mean, as far as trying to pick out people who fit, I mean, I've never had to really do that. It's kind of just been like, hey, someone knows someone who needs a gig or is looking for a band to play in, and then
I guess I'm always interested in that too. I'm interested in beginnings. Like I call this podcast the beginner's guide to doing stand-up from a beginner. Like I like beginnings of stories. I look at like, I guess that's kind of why I asked that question, because I like the beginnings of the Chili Peppers, just meeting in high school and them getting in fights and then becoming a band. And I like Lynyrd Skynyrd was named after like their high school gym teacher.
Oh yeah, I did hear that before.
I like little things like that add up to a band.
Right.
I can't even relate that to comedy in any way, but I like that.
You have like a comedy team, you know what I mean? Like when it's something like that, then you could.
There are guys around here
that travel around or something.
Yeah, there are guys around here that do that. There's a group called the We Got Next comedy group in town. They do really good stuff. That's even more like improv. Like I'm not good at improv, but people like form troops and things like that.
Okay.
Do you what was I gonna ask? Do you write a lot of lyrics?
I'm not much of a lyricist.
Do you never do? Why?
I've written a few songs. I mean, I never had really the confidence, I think, is the big thing for me.
Yeah.
And then just, I mean, I really don't know. I never thought I was good at it. And
I'm
then
the same way.
I'm never a fan of my voice either. Like, I'm going to listen to this and be like, wow, that's how I sound when I talk.
I had to get over that so quick. I had to get over that in high school, like filming videos and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Even when I was watching that video I shared, I skipped through my part because I hated my stupid,
Are you serious?
scrawny little body just whining on camera. Yes. No. We're in off. I can't. You're not the first person to do that. That's hilarious. But yeah, I'm the same way with lyrics too. I tried writing lyrics in high school, and everything that even now I'll try and do it too. Like everything that I put down on paper, it sounds ridiculous to me. And then I'll go listen again to the Chili Peppers, and I'll be like, okay, I think I can make that happen, right? Like I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I've written like funny, silly songs, like, you know what I mean, about friends just like dicking around. Like I wrote a song about when RC bought a motorcycle. I wrote a song about him riding a motorcycle, but like I've tried to write some serious songs. I don't know if I can't take myself serious enough, but I don't know. I'd like to do it. I really need to do it.
You'd be a good comedy writer then. Like comedy songs. I wrote a song. I was gonna do it on stage, and I never ended up doing it. It was about how I'm in love with Mike Pence, and like our love is friend. You know, it's actually pretty good, but I've never done it on stage. Are there as a guitar player, I can see lyrics being inspired by a particular thing, right? Like I can see lyrics being inspired by a girl or an event that happened or X, Y, and Z, fill in the blank. Like I can see lyrics being inspired by that. How does actual guitar, how does actual rhythm, even like keys music, like where does inspiration come from things that are almost, I'm trying to say, transcendent of the English language? Like, right, how where does that inspiration come from stuff like that? The answer can be I have no fucking clue.
That's a really good question, Nate. I have no idea. That's a big question of like where do your thoughts come from, as far like what generates that thought to happen to pop into your particular head. Like it's not like you're trying to think of that thought sometimes. So it's like you might just sit down at a piano and I might just not even look where my fingers go.
Right.
And if it sounds cool, you could build something off of that. But like, I don't know. Like you just pick up the guitar sometimes and a couple chords go together. And I mean, the better you get at music, that's where it can become kind of, the more you know theory-wise.
I was going to ask that.
You're going to know what's going to come out before you play it. So you lose a little bit of the innocence of like pure experimentation. Once you get so, like, you know exactly what it's going to sound like when you go from that 2 to 5 to 1 progression, you know what I mean, or whatever, like before you even do it. So there's you lose some of that, but you gain some real creative control when you do that too.
Right. You're able to create something the more theory you know. But excuse me, I get that completely. I've thought about it and I've talked about it on here before, but when I'm listening to music now, I took theory 1 to 3 in college, and I know a good bit of music theory. Like I know a good deal of music theory. But it's almost made me appreciate music less. No, I shouldn't say not appreciate it, but it's made me enjoy it less. I'm almost envious of the people that do not know what a 4/4 time signature means.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'm almost envious of people who don't know what a waltz is, because I can have just awe at it. And if it's almost seeing like behind the scenes, like it's almost seeing you're taking the mask off of something, off of art to me. And it kind of pulls me away from music.
I can see that.
I mean?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. That's interesting.
Like that at all?
I can't say I've personally ever made No, I can't. Sometimes it, like I said, the more you're like, oh, that's what they're doing. Like, that's so clever. Like, I would have never thought to do that. Because that's where the creativeness comes into it. And you're like, they know so much.
Yeah.
But you still have to experiment. So, you know, to some point, you have to still, that's how you push the boundaries. It's like, well, what happens if I do this? You know what I mean? It might not be the standard thing to do all the time based on the theory now, but then that's, you know, you got to push the envelope.
And people break that cycle too. Like they break just regular music.
And sometimes it's horrible.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's horrible.
Do you ever get jealous at other musicians? Like, God damn, that is so good. I'm not even saying local, but like on a professional level. Like, do you get jealous of? Because I get that way with stand up at a local level. Like, I'll see people be like, God damn, that's a great bit. Where in the world was I at for something? It was right there. Like, it was so obvious. Why didn't I? Do you get that way with music?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, there are times when I hear a song and it's a newer song and I'm like, oh man, I feel like if I would have sat down and really tried to write something like that, might have popped into my head, something similar to that. You know what I mean? But I mean, envy is not jealousy, envy. It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good, but it's a natural thing. You know what I mean? It's just about controlling that emotion a lot. It's like, it's hard. Yeah. It's hard because I do. I'd say I do and I don't.
I feel like
it's a balance of
both comedy and music that there has to be some type of envy. There has to be some type of drive.
It's almost more respect than envy. It's envy, but it's also like once you look at what it is and like how they constructed, like whether it's a chord progression or just a certain solo or whatever, it's like it's envious, but it's also like a lot of respect at the same time. You're like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I get that. Yeah. I'm the same exact way.
Right.
So when I talk about actual comedy and like long-term comedy stuff, like I definitely have like goals that I want to hit. I don't really like the term goals, but I started looking at it as like a monthly thing, like monthly, this is what I want to do with comedy. I've stopped looking like 10 years down the road with it because that stresses me out. With music, are there things that you want to do specifically with music, whether it's long-term, whether it's short-term? The answer can be just get better at what you're doing. Are there things that you're like, this is something that down the road, this is something I have to get done?
Right. I mean, that's a rough one. Everyone always wants to do a tour. It'd be awesome to be able to just, hey, I'm going to take X amount of months and just travel around and have the gigs and be able to not come back completely broke or in debt. But I mean, that would be awesome to do. I mean, I don't know. I think I would just like to make music that people enjoy. And I mean, it doesn't have, I don't really strive for any sort of like fame. That kind of stuff kind of scares me actually. Like as far as like, I want to be able to go around and not be bothered. You know what I mean? I could imagine being someone like Justin Timberlake or like Taylor Swift.
Is that true? You have like no desire
can't leave
for
your
that?
House. Yeah. Like I have literally no desire for that, but I wouldn't mind being known around Pittsburgh as, a local musician for sure. You know what I mean? That's obviously something to strive for. I'd like to be known in this area, but I mean, I don't know. It's hard because I never looked at music as like wanting to do it as a source of like income or something like that. Like I wouldn't mind it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I never like that was like my thing. I thought about going to school for like recording technology.
Did you?
I toured that Full Sail University down in Florida. I think it was in Orlando. Yeah. I toured that school, and it just seemed like, first of all, it was really expensive.
I just had a guy on the podcast who went there.
Yeah, super expensive. And then I just couldn't justify it. And I was interested in what I do now. Like I work with lasers and whatnot now, so it's fun.
From what Eric told me, you have a cool job.
Yeah, it's interesting technology, which I'm a fan of just technology in general.
Right.
Like what the humans are coming up with is pretty cool. So like that's interesting. So like music has been able to just be a pure hobby for me. So it's like just it's enjoyable. If I don't like something, I don't have to do it. You know what I mean? Because I don't need to do it for income. You know what I mean? It's like if I'm on a project that I'm starting to not like the way it's going, I don't. Yeah, I can be like, look, guys, I can be honest and be like, look, this isn't for me, and I'm gonna go do something different. And sorry, I helped the transition, but it's not like.
Yeah.
I don't need that money to keep going, like, for the gig. Like, if I played with a touring gig, something like that. So
right. But listening to that makes me happy. Like, that makes me think about myself, where I have, like, things that I want to do long-term with this.
Right.
But does that pull me away from the actual art of what I'm making? If you don't have to rely on it for income, I think there's, like, pros and cons with that. The pro, if you're doing for income, you're gonna write and you're gonna work, like especially comedy.
You're gonna be driven. You're gonna be super driven.
You're gonna get booked. You're booking your own shit every weekend to build an income. I don't handle stress that well though. Like I don't handle that anxiety very well. So if I'm doing it as a hobby, it's like, okay, where does my writing fit into that? Like how in the middle do I want to be with that?
Yep.
And I think that's kind of the line I'm towing. I even look at it from like building my Instagram presence. It's like, that's a marketing tool. Like me doing well on that is just to get people to know my name and get booked for gigs. And that's it. And I really do think of it that way.
But I mean, yeah, and that's going to make you enjoy it more because you're not going to enjoy it unless you get booked for gigs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you have to look at it from, you have to be professional if in some aspects because you still want to have fun with it and book it. Like, that's kind of like if I were to be like, all right, get gigs for my band, but then like we don't practice and we show up and play a shitty show. Right. It's like, it doesn't do us any good, but like it's...
You haven't studied for the exam.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I think having a job and not having to do music for a living has, like you said, has a pros and cons for sure. Because you're not maybe as driven as if you had to put food on the table with it. But at the same time, you can approach it from a different mindset.
Yes.
It's not desperation. It's pure, hey, this is what I feel like doing right now. If I don't feel like doing it,
right,
I don't really have to.
You don't have to. That's exactly right.
Because I can guarantee you there has to be comedians and musicians that are on tour that are like, another gig. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. I would really like today off, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I gotta fucking go out at night. That's my job. I work from 7 to 11 at night.
Yeah, if not longer with traveling and all. Like oh man,
yeah.
Crazy.
Absolutely. Do you have anything outside of comedy that you need to get done in terms of
music?
Again, not goals, but like milestones in life that you want to get done? So I'll tell you mine. I want to. Outside of comedy, I want to get married at some point. I want to have kids like mid-30s. Like, I don't want kids anytime before that.
You tell us to your girlfriend?
What? Yes.
I'm just kidding.
No, we agree. We high-five on that.
I'm just kidding. That's funny.
She's... never.
She's going to listen to this, dude.
She's currently pregnant, actually.
All right.
And those are the two things, like, from a personal standpoint that I want to get done. Are there things like that in your life? And the answer can be no. I'm just chilling.
I mean, I've been just
fucking around.
No, I kind of am right now. Just kind of forking around here. It's like, I mean, eventually, I think everyone at some point you want to reproduce. You want to pass your genetics on. Right. Especially, the older I get, the more. Not confidence, but you become like kind of content with who you are and like kind of figuring yourself out. You're like, yeah, it might be good to have influence on another life like that you can, help. So like I'd like to have kids eventually, whether it's, I don't know when that'll be, but
well,
I mean?
Yeah, but you said it too, it's like a confidence thing. You are content with who you are. That took me a long time to really get into.
Yeah, I'm still, it's still a process for sure, but the older you get, I think it just continues on.
That's right.
I think constantly evolving. When you stop and you're like, oh, this is who I am. Yeah, you're going to be happy for a little bit, but at the same time, if I think you're going to go a little insane if you stay the exact same. You're going to find a generalization of what you want to be or who you want to be around, the types of people, but...
Yeah, I think that's older people. Like, I'd not to... just cast a broad net over this, but like I think that's people in their 60s and 70s who just retire to not retire maybe, but like retire to who they are, and like you stop growing, you stop learning, and like I've become very intellectually curious over the last, I'd say 3 or 4 years of my life, and even definitely starting comedy, like. But I don't think I was ever that way in high school and college. And like, thank God. Now I'm like, oh, I'm really interested in a lot of different people.
Right.
I'm interested in a lot of different art forms too.
Mm-hmm. Expression. The way people express themselves is very fascinating. Let's put it that way. Like the way people choose to be themselves is, it never gets old to study and like just look at someone and be like, I wonder why. You know what I mean? Like just as far as like, you know what I mean? Like why do you wear what you wear? Why do you listen to what you listen to? People are constantly trying to figure out what they are.
Absolutely. But that's it too. I'm interested in beginnings. I'm interested in how people started and where they got to. And I'm fortunate enough to live in like this era, like this time in humanity where there are so many different types of people.
And you can see them all too.
And you can see all of them.
You don't even have to leave your house. You can just look on Facebook.
That's exactly right.
Not that I spend that much time doing that, but if you want to, you can. It's a lot more fun in person. Just go walk around the city or something. You'll have.
Well, you see everything downtown too. You go to New York City, you'll see fucking everybody.
Yeah. I just got back from a 2-week trip out in California. Me and Carly, we flew into LA.
Really?
Yeah, and we drove up the coast from LA to Seattle. Her brother got married, so we like stopped for that, and then
that's great.
Yeah, it was really fun. You talk about seeing some people. It was all different types of people. We were in like downtown San Francisco, but then you're in like Santa Monica, Santa Barbara. It's really see a lot of different cool people. And up in Portland, we stayed a night.
Did you? When did you go to Portland? Cool. Do you know what day you were in? I was in Portland in November.
It was probably like the 9th or 10th.
Oh, dude, I was in Portland on the 3rd.
Yeah, you were definitely ahead of us. So the 3rd, we were still down in California.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
that's fun.
That is really. But yeah, dude, that was talk about people watching. It was just all those cities. It was
there
really
are a lot of homeless people in Portland.
Oh my, yeah,
I was a lot of them.
Seattle was like that too. There was some stuff where we walked around. Or was it Seattle? It might have been. I think I'm thinking of San Fran. San Fran was like that. Seattle wasn't too bad. At least the part of town we were staying in. San Francisco, there was a lot of.
I've heard that.
A lot of homeless people. We were like the Haight-Ashbury area, like where in like the Summer of Love in like the 60s, like that was kind of like the mecca for all the hippies, the Haight-Ashbury. And there was like so there's still that culture's kind of there, but I wasn't too thrilled with that part of the trip.
You weren't?
It was just like kind of a downer part of the city, you know what I mean? It was just like, all right.
Did you like LA?
We didn't stay that long in LA. We basically just flew in, got our rental car, and then we drove to like Santa Monica, and we just I love that. Yeah,
I love trips like that.
Yeah, it was the best trip I've been on so far. Driving up the coast, like the Pacific Coast Highway, it was beautiful.
But you're like I even think you don't even have to go to Europe or Asia to experience different cultures. Go to Portland, go to Santa Monica, go to San Francisco, go to Seattle. And we live in Allegheny County, one of the counties that like it's one of the highest in people who live or are born here who die here. Like there is something about that. It's like when you get out of this area, it's refreshing but also eye-opening to a lot of things.
Maybe it's something in the water here.
It's probably
is. It could be that. I don't know. It could just be the area, but
I agree.
That's funny.
I agree. We're almost at an hour, man.
You got a time limit?
I like to stick to an hour. RC's was a goddamn hour and a half, and I loved it. It was such a good episode.
People can lose them. Yeah,
that's what I
see. I'm a fan though. Like I'll listen to like Rogan or like Sam Harris or like Peterson and them guys, and it's like hours and a half. Yeah, I don't mind it though, because if I find myself like getting like sidetracked, I'm like, all right, pause it for a little bit. Like if I'm like starting to get like that, but
yeah, man, do another podcast.
yeah, exactly.
All right, this is it, man. Hey, thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you, man.
This is great. So this is the last question I have for you. Do you know this last question?
Oh, I do.
Oh my
god!
I
still don't have a good answer.
Still gonna ask you. Okay, I'm gonna ask you anyway. So Nick, you're at a bar. Yes. Night's going terribly. The bartender was revealed to be a Nazi. Poisoned 8 people's drinks. There was
quicksand, right?
There's the quicksand. I was gonna make a joke about what's the bar up by that movie theater in like in Freeport.
Rockefellers.
Oh yeah, it's basically Rockefellers.
Oh man,
quicksand in the back. Gonna be quicksand in the back.
Pool table's getting sucked up.
But it's also karaoke night, and it is your job to save the entire night. What song are you singing?
I don't. I still, like I said, I've tried to think of. I listened to this podcast multiple episodes, and this is. There is no perfect song. You pick. Yours is a good one.
Thank you.
I've been listening to a lot of Grateful Dead lately.
Oh, I don't know.
I do. See, I love.
Dead.
I love.
Do you?
Yeah. I love this guys. I've gotten into him the past probably 4 or 5 years. I've been down the rabbit hole.
Really?
But they have a song. I think it's their only top 20 hit, "Touch of Grey," but the chorus is like, I will get by. I think like
gray.
Yeah, I just feel like that would be a good song to get people's spirits up.
Is it an upbeat
telling them they will
song?
get by? Yeah.
That's why you'd say upbeat.
I would
song?
say it's a little upbeat, and it's got, like I said, the chorus is telling people they'll get by, and it's got a good catchy melody. It's just
Things
funny.
Will be okay.
It's probably it's such a that's their only like top hit and so mainstream to say, but I think that'd be a good one.
I love that, man. Grateful Dead is like a fake band to me. Like I hear so much about them, and I've never
Dude, look
listened
into
to
it. There's a good documentary
song.
if you have Amazon Prime. There's a good documentary on there about those guys. It's called Long Strange Trip. It's good.
I will.
It's an interesting thing that they had there.
I will watch it but I'll listen to more music of them first. You know,
listen to live stuff, dude. They recorded. They're like the most recorded band in history.
Really?
Just because they used to let people tape their shows. Like they had tapers that would come in. Yeah, you can find so many live.
Is that true?
Oh yeah.
There's the other band is Fish. Fish is a fake band to me. They're very recorded, but like they don't exist.
Yes.
Like they
Trey
definitely
Anastasia.
have music.
Oh yeah.
But they're not a real band.
You should check them both out. You might dig it. You might not.
I'll listen to it.
To each his own.
Absolutely. That's it, man. So you get to sign. Okay. Do you have anything you want to promote?
Oh, when's this coming out?
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. This coming Saturday, the 22nd, is Feliz Navibrah, which is like a Christmas celebration holiday. It's not really Christmas. It's just a holiday celebration at Mr. Small's in the Funhouse. That's like the newer upstairs venue there. Other than that, there's no other shows really coming up this year. Brahctopus has like the Frozen Harbor Music Festival next February. But yeah, we might have something. Brahctopus also might have something for the people early next year. A little surprise. So that'll be something to look forward to. But yeah, the only gig just this next Saturday, the 22nd.
I'm pumped, dude. They're all great.
Yeah.
All the bands that you're in are goddamn great.
Oh, you're great, man. Thank you.
So you get to sign us off. You get to say anything you'd like. I've had people swear at me. I've had people say inspirational things. I've had people be mean to me. You could say whatever you'd like. Sign us off.
So in Brahctopus, we like to tell people to keep it squiggly. Keep it squiggly and just, hang loose.
Fucking A, dude.
What's next?
Keep it squiggly. Keep it loose. What's next? You heard it here first. Thanks, Nick.